Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 on Langreskaya. Our heroes today are going to be once again Mr. VindicareX, playing as the Soviet army in the blue. And his opponent is going to be none other than Symbiosis, playing as the Ostir or Wehrmacht faction in the red. So again, we are back to the tournament, Operation Charlie Fox, and last we saw Mr. VindicareX, he had just defeated Mr. Helping Hands in the best of 3, 2-1, playing it in... Wait, what map was it? I don't even remember anymore. But he moved on to the next round, and in this round he is facing against Symbiosis, again for another best of 3, but this time around in Langreskaya. And it was Angloville, right, on the other one? Yeah, sorry. I couldn't remember the name. Anyways, so, should be a great match. I mean, there's going to be a lot of great matches in this tournament. Obviously, I'm not going to cover all of them. I'm just going to grab, you know, who I feel like grabbing. But for now, we're just going to see how far Mr. Vindicare can make it, or at least if he can make it to the next round. So, to start off with, we saw Symbiosis building his Tier 1, going for the Tier 1 close to the edge of the base, allowing him to reinforce a little bit further out, which is a pretty good thing to do. Not very common, because you don't need to put them in the edge to, you know, call in the unit, because they still come in from the edge of the map, but it still gives you that little benefit, which sometimes can actually turn the game. He went for Tier 1, getting 2 Grenadiers out right now, MG42 as well, VindicareX, no tech, just going conscripts, and then following it up with a Combat Engineer squad. Now, I can only assume that this Combat Engineer squad is going to be building some type of tech, considering he's on the field. We've seen him previously go for Tier 1, getting himself the Soviet Scout car, so I can only assume that's what he's going to do. We'll see if that is in fact the case. Center map, though, MG42 catching a Combat Engineer squad in the center of the map. Grant's coming up to support it, and they quickly force the retreat. Back at base, the Combat Engineers are still moving forward. Are they going to build? Yeah, they're actually going to go for Tier 2. Interesting. So no Scout car this time around. We'll see what he comes up from Tier 2. Maybe an MG, I guess. Maxim machine gun. Far left-hand side, conscripts going for the fuel, as Pios get the hell out of the way. Center map, Grant's capping. Right-hand side, we have a conscript squad hold up in this shack, while another one is moving around the sides of it, capturing territory. And the MG42 is shifting position to put itself in a bit of a better angle. Grant's and MG going to be pushing straight to the center. MG42, she's going to set up there on the open, trying to catch those conscripts. Can they get a burst off? Maybe. Yeah, gets one burst off, but the conscripts manage to move out of the way before any suppression effects take effect. Or any suppression takes effect, I guess I should say. And up in the north, Combat Engineers have laid down some wire on the other side of the heavy cover hay bales to, you know, deny Symbiosis a little bit of harassing capacity. The Ares is not going to be able to have that heavy cover by default. Ooh, interesting. We see VindicareX starting with, well, not starting, but getting not an MG, damn it, a mortar from his Tier 2, while Symbiosis is getting himself a second MG42. Vindicare did select the Doctrine right off the bat, and that is, of course, the Armored Assault Tactics. He is very fond of that Doctrine. And it's understandable. It's a very good Doctrine. Gives you that call-in IS-2, the ability for T-3485s, and probably most importantly, the radio intercept, which gives you a lot of intel. A lot of intel. It's surprising what you can do when you actually know what your enemy's doing. So MG42 catching a conscript squad out in the open on the right-hand side, getting it pinned down and severely injured. Gren's moving up to try to shoot them in the face, but they hit retreat and get the hell out of there. Mortar on the field, setting up on the edge of the map. Well, not the edge of the map, the edge of the base. Into the map, start bombarding those MGs. The MGs will be forced to displace rather quickly, but we do have the pin going on Langreskaya. Still happens, still quite effective. But it has been adjusted, you know, they added these heavy cover walls and such to make it a little bit more, you know, easy to try and break out of it. And we see the Pio squad being forced away. Mortar getting some good shots there on the Grens, bringing them down to very low amounts of health, and they're still 4 men strong, so they'll quickly die in the next engagement. MG42, though, does get some shots off on the approaching infantry, getting a Combat Engineer squad suppressed. They are crawling into some heavy cover, so they'll be able to stay off the pin-down effect. Second combat engineer squad on the side of the MG, trying to get the flank, although the Grunt squad gets in the way, but conscripts pushing on the right-hand side, getting a big flank on the MG and managing to get themselves straight through the arc of fire on top of it, forcing it to backpedal. It's not going to retreat, though. It's just going to set up a little bit further back. Maybe a little bit too close here. The conscripts are right on top of it. No, the conscripts stop and do not manage to get on top, but the MG42 was already scared and packing up to get the hell out of the way. Conscripts on the far left-hand side capturing territory, while at the same time the second MG42 is being utilized on the fuel to capture that territory, covering the victory point as well, although it's not in Symbiosis control. Grant's inside the shack, forced to get out, as there is, of course, the mortar on the field, so that's going to make it a little bit more difficult to stay inside of houses. And then conscripts are going to capture territory in the center. Back at base, Symbiosis teching up, going for tier 2 and getting himself that med bunker going. Going to be able to heal up those troops. I mean, he has 2 4-man squads very low in health. Ooh, interesting. He decides to cancel the tier 2. Is he just going to replace it? Or is he instead going to go... Well, interesting. He's instead going for a sniper, so I'm assuming then he's not going to tech to tier 2. Interesting. Well, we'll see how it pans out. Left-hand side, Gren's engaging against conscripts at long range. Far right-hand side, we do hear the MG42 opening up on the approaching infantry, but we do have combat engineers with flamethrowers, which quickly pop that MG42 out of the field and get the hell out of there. Medics have healed up the squad significantly. Grunt squad full health. The MG42, sliver of health missing, but pretty insubstantial there. Grunt squad on the left-hand side engaging the conscripts pretty close. The conscripts could have the benefit of the heavy cover, but they're not exactly placed correctly. This guy's standing a little bit further back, so generally speaking, they have light cover, although it still kind of comes into play. Conscripts coming up on top of the Gren squad, forcing it to retreat as they capture that victory point. And we see Grens and the MG42 moving in that direction. Going to get some good shots going on the conscripts. Conscripts need to move a little bit further back if they don't want to get suppressed. They do move a little bit back. Going to get into cover by that fence. Fence allows them to still capture the point. And they do capture the victory point, which are currently 449 to 438. Pretty much anybody's game at this stage. The Grens move further up. The MG42 pops inside the shack. We do have the mortar on the field. The mortar is going to try to dislodge that MG. I can only assume.
The sector is at risk.
No? What's it shooting at? Well, it was told to shoot at something, but I don't exactly know what it was.
MG squad awaiting orders.
Now it is there.
Sector under attack.
So right-hand side, conscripts trying to maybe see if they can hold the line, but with an MG and an LMG coming up on top of them, they decide to instead retreat. Back at base, we do have medics for Mr. VindicareX, so he's going to save himself a little bit of manpower in doing that. Combat engineers in the center going to be eaten alive here by the LMGs and the MGs, so they need to get the hell out of there, and they do. And the mortar decides to pack up and leave as well, as there's not much left on the field to defend them. We do have mines laid down all over the place there for VindicareX. VindicareX getting a mediocre hit there on that Grand Squad as only one of their members dies to the mine, but it at least does a little bit of damage and forces them to rethink their life a little bit. MG42s all over the place, just shooting. LMGs as well, doing a lot of damage here to the infantry. Conscript's going to be setting up a heavier little bit of cover here by the strategic point with their sandbags instead of the light cover of the fence. And on the far right-hand side, Pyro Squad with the flamethrower going to be engaging a Maxim machine gun for VindicareX, which is going to eat it up a lot very quickly if it doesn't get the hell out of there. Manages to decap the fuel point, going to get shot up on the retreat, but it should be able to make it out of there just fine. Sniper is on the field for Mr. Symbiosis, 3 kills so far. We'll see how well it performs here. Going to take some shots there at the conscripts. Conscripts losing some members. And they're also on the wrong side of that heavy cover. Now they managed to get themselves in there. But they do successfully hold the point. It doesn't get cut off, so at least VindicareX has his territory, right? Conscripts moving to the right, supporting the Maxim machine gun. Mortar sitting in the center, not the center, but, you know, inside the base. And back in the base, we see the medics healing up the combat engineers as they decide to go and build Tier 3. So Tier 2 now finally down for Mr. Symbiosis, getting himself a pack gun. Seems to have worked fine, delaying that Tier 2. Could have potentially gotten something else, you know. 222 for support, half-track, even Panzer Grenadiers, although you don't see a lot of Panzer Grenadiers nowadays. And the mortar seems to be taking some shots into the center victory point.
Losing supplies to the enemy.
Sniper on the left-hand side, going to be moving up against the conscripts. Conscripts instantly retreat and manage to dodge the sniper shot, not getting hit. And the Grens do not manage to finish their quarry. Mortar still getting some shots into the center point as the MG42 capped it a while back. And on the right-hand side, Grens are going for the strategic point as we have a Maxim machine gun hold up inside the shack, getting some shots on the other MG42, forcing it to crawl through the ground into a better position. Conscript squad set up on the right-hand side, trying to stop the approaching Grens, but there is 2 Grens on the field with LMGs. The conscripts will not have much of a opportunity here. Maxim machine gun does turn itself around in... No, actually still looking in that direction. Never mind. So the conscripts will lose. Center map, though, we do hear an engagement as a Maxim machine gun... No, MG42, sorry. Eating a combat engineer squad down to 1 man, sitting in front of a sniper. Hits retreat. Can the sniper pick him off on the retreat? Here goes the shot. Oh, he does. And down goes a combat engineer squad for Vindicare. Didn't look like that one had any upgrades, though, so I guess that's kind of nice. But he just did end up losing a squad. And we also have a teller mine right there in the choke point of the road. Grens over on the right-hand side. One of them went for the fuel point. The other one is on the ground, getting shot in the face by a Maxim machine gun. Combat engineer squad with flamethrowers, getting on top of the Gren squad, forcing it to quickly retreat. As the Grens over here on the far edge, they put themselves in the heavy cover of the sandbag, even though that is, well, essentially directional. Mines, again, more mines laid out all over the place. We still have that mine over here. I'm not sure where else we have mines, but Vindicator, well, both players actually really good at setting up mines. Sniper on the field has gotten 10 kills so far, continues to get more shots flying at the Soviet infantry. Down to 2 men on that combat engineer squad. Gren squad is forced to retreat, but it is down to 1 on the combat engineer. Needs to retreat or the sniper could pick it up. Does end up retreating, does not want to take a risk. And the conscripts push forward, getting some shots there on the retreating Grens, but they're going to run into a second Gren squad supported by a sniper, which means lose. Quickly lose. Sniper takes a shot. Conscripts down to 5 men. 5 on 4 against the Grens. Even by themselves, it's a losing engagement. Down to 4 men. Sniper continues to take some shots. Down to 3. Down to 2. Conscript squad will be killed here on the right-hand side. I don't think it's going to make it out. It's not even going to try to make it out. And Vindicare loses a conscript squad onto the field. Going to build a Maxim machine gun to replace that. Looks like he instead just wants to do it that way. Conscripts are laying down a flare. Yeah, tripwire flares. It can actually still kill units, so... It's funny. Well, I mean, I don't know if it still happens, but I've seen the German sniper get killed by a tripwire flare. Maxim machine gun on the right-hand side, running into that into that sniper. Trying to chase it down, but it's kind of difficult since they have to set up and the sniper can just simply shoot and scoot. Or scoot and shoot, however you want. You know, whichever came first, the chicken or the egg. Conscripts on the left-hand side, engaging the MG42. MG42 getting some shots into the shack. Gonna kill them off if they stay there. Mortar moving up on the field. Still 6 men strong, not healed up because they were sitting a little bit too far away from the HQ. And the medics don't really want to walk out there. Pio squads and combat engineers engaging over here on the right-hand side. Flamethrower bursts going off in all directions. Combat engineers trying to fight, but down to 1 man. We're going to get killed off here. Oh, VindicareX losing another squad. Another combat engineer squad goes down, and geez, he's not having a good time right now. Left-hand side, we hear the LMGs and the MG of the MG42 opening up on the infantry. Combat engineers down to 2 men, very low in health. They might. Yes, they do. Yeah, they make it out of there. Barely, but they do. We do have a sniper on the field still, getting some shots there on the mortar. Mortar is forced to retreat. Sniper taking shots. Sniper misses, and the mortar gets out of there. Combat engineer makes it out of there as well. Conscripts inside the shack down to 3 men, still fighting against the MG42. MG42 takes some health damage, but still quite okay. Gonna go back and heal. And the LMG Grens managed to hold the line here and forcing the retreat of both conscript squads. Sniper on the field taking some shots at the retreating conscripts. Down to 2 men on that squad. Should be able to make it out of there, even if it hits the next shot, which it didn't take. Should be quite fine. But the victory points are all 3 currently in possession of VindicareX, which brings it 399 to 359. So that's a thing. And Sniper on the right-hand side, quickly retreating as a Maxim machine gun pops inside the shack, threatening its life. Center point, we see more Taylor mines getting laid down here for Symbiosis. A little bit aggressive mine placement, but there's nothing here to spot them, so the Pios are quite well. They're also covered by an MG42, so it could have still gone down, but usually you don't want to see, or you don't want your opponent to see when that happens. Both combat engineer squads going to be building that tier 4. So tier 3 was acquired simply for teching up. VindicareX not building anything at all from it. So going straight up to tier 4. And I can only assume he's going to be getting that T-3485 since his Doctrine, you know, gives him access to those. Left-hand side, Pioneer Squad with flamethrowers, forced to retreat by conscripts. Grens with LMGs nearby but not supporting. Conscripts in the center, getting shut down there by an MG42, but the MG42 was forced to pack up and leave as the conscripts were coming up for a flank, and the conscripts managed to break the suppression and continue to move. Maxim machine gun laying into the house as the MG42 inside will lay back on them and quickly get them suppressed. Incendiary rounds going off on the MG42, doing a lot of damage to the squad, down to 3 men, probably down to 2, get it pinned down, and it's gonna clear it off if Vindicare doesn't retreat it. Vindicare seems to be losing a little bit of concentration here. Down to 1 man on that Maxim machine gun. MG42 burst goes off, and down goes the Maxim machine gun in the center as we see the other Maxim machine gun popping into the shack. Behind the lines, Conscript Squad getting shot up as we see Tier 3 having gone down for Symbiosis and getting himself a Panzer IV. We did see him get a pack gun previously, just as a preemptive measure, but it didn't really come into play. And back at base, we do see the T-3485 getting built for the VindicareX. That will eat that Panzer IV. Well, I'm not going to say eat it alive, really, but, you know, it should be able to handle it pretty easily. Of course, if the pack gun comes into play, then that changes. Right-hand side, Maxim machine gun engaging the Grens. The Grens hit the dirt right in front of the Maxim machine gun and throw a rifle grenade at the face. Oh, getting a lot of damage in there, including the detonation of a mine, which they were apparently sitting on top of. And doing a lot of damage, forcing them to retreat down to 2 men. Grens on the right-hand side retreat as the Panzer IV moves up into the center. Takes a shot at the T-3485. T-3485 trying to mask itself behind the house. Not managing to do so as it gets nailed once again by that Panzer IV. And the Panzer IV backs off. T-34 seemingly wanting to bait the Panzer IV into the mine, but not really working out. Sniper moving up. 22 kills so far. Symbiosis doing a lot of damage with that sniper. Conscripts in the center, just getting chewed up here by the Panzer IV, the MGs, LMGs, and everything. T-34 moves up, takes a shot at the sniper. Sniper taking some damage, but he is still alive. Pack gun and the Panzer IV taking the return fire on the T-34, but both of them seemingly missing. And the T-34 makes it all the way back to base. However, VindicareX is currently pinned into his base. No territory outside, and this is going to be a very difficult situation for VindicareX, a difficult scenario to come back from. So Panzer IV pushing yeah, he's pushing aggressively into VindicareX's base. Maxim machine gun getting beaten up there by the whole machine gun from the Panzer IV. T-34 does move up, getting a solid hit. Well, not really. Getting a shot off on the Panzer IV, but not really doing any damage. And on the right-hand side, we see the MG42, Grens, and Pios moving forward, trying to go for the victory points. Victory points are 376 for VindicareX, 335 for Symbiosis. Again, Vindicare still leading, but situationally, though, he is pretty much losing. Wow. T-3485 once again getting a bad shot going, not managing to hit the Panzer IV at all. So the Panzer IV sitting quite comfortably there. T-34 going to be moving over to the right-hand side to engage, seeing if maybe he can bait that Panzer IV to move in that direction, potentially hitting the mine. Not really going to happen, but we do have an AT gun on the field for VindicareX since he has Tier 2. So he should be able to push back. Combat engineers on the right-hand side trying to engage the Grens. These are combat engineers and not Pios. They don't have SMGs, so even though they're close range, that's not going to help them out at all. Well, I mean, not that much, I guess. Conscripts on the left-hand side, down to 4. Maxim machine gun moving up, getting some good shots there on that Gren squad, getting it pinned down. T-3485 getting shot at by the pack gun, taking some damage, but the pack gun is still in range. Not able to shoot back at it now. It doesn't attack the ground. Maxim machine gun trying to recover that strategic point outside the base. I mean, it's an admirable approach there, but it's not actually going to accomplish anything since Vindicare doesn't have any territory on the field. Left-hand side, Maxim machine gun recovering that strategic point right outside his base, which he also lost, which is surprising and kind of difficult to do. Soviet mortar, Veteran C2 has been acquired. It's only killed 5, but, you know, it's done a decent amount of damage to troops and such. T-3485 moving up, taking a shot, but hitting the side of the shack, not managing to impact really anything. Panzer IV moving over to the right-hand side. Pack gun taking some shots through the house. And the T-3045 is just attacking the ground here and not actually hitting anything. Right-hand side, conscripts and combat engineers are moving, trying to recover some territory and going for the fuel. The Panzer IV puts itself right in front of the T-3045, but the T-3045 was attacking ground, unable to turn its head and take a shot at the Panzer IV. Now, no, still nothing. AT gun setting up, Panzer IV moving out of range, and the conscripts are going to capture the point under fire as they have their sandbags set up. Maxim machine gun on the left-hand side continues to capture territory as conscripts go all the way behind enemy lines to capture the fuel point, or at least decap it. They managed to do so, but they now have 2 Grunt squads on top of them. Conscripts going to move back and, I guess, delay here, but they're kind of setting themselves up to be killed on the retreat. Right-hand side, we still have that Panzer IV. Panzer IV. Well, it is there, but we have the T-34 there getting repaired, while the Panzer IV nearby is also doing the same thing. Conscripts now retreating as they notice the folly of their location. Making it out of there just... well, not just barely. I mean, they make it out of there just fine. And the Maxim machine gun trying to stop the approaching Grunts, as the Grunts are going to decap the point, and they're trying as hard as they can to suppress them, but they just keep getting shot and grenaded to the point where nobody is manning the gun and no shots are coming out. So the Grunt squad manages to sit in front of the Maxim machine gun and actually capture the point altogether. Combat engineers going to be laying down some mines themselves, as we do have a Teller mine set up there in that location for Symbiosis. Should be able to clear it up there with those combat engineers, but the combat engineers are actually instead going along their way, not deciding to clear that out. Bit of a mistake there for Vindicare, but well, we'll see. Grand squad over on the left-hand side being pushed by the T-3485. Fuel-wise, though, Vindicare doesn't really have a lot, so even though he's about to get the 13 command points necessary for the IS-2, he is far, far away from having the fuel requirements to do so. So the T-3485 is essentially his only possibility. Sturmovik attack getting called in on something. We see a house collapsing here and crushing... I'm not sure what it shot at, but oh, there you go. Killing combat engineer squad, it looks like. Yeah, it's the sweeper guy. Can we actually see the sweeper like laying it down here somewhere? No, it doesn't look like, but oh, we'll see. Grand squad over on the right-hand side. There goes a shot from the T-3485, detonating that Teller mine. So good on VindicareX there. Manages to avoid catastrophe, I suppose. Center map, Maxim machine gun and conscript pushing forward, as we do have the Tiger coming onto the field now. Do we? Wait, we do, right? Yeah, there is. Tiger over here on the left-hand side. Symbiosis is now in great shape. Maxim machine gun forced to retreat from the left-hand side, as on the far left-hand side, we do have a conscript squad trying to go for the fuel. Manages to capture the fuel as double Grand squads get on top of them. Can it make it on the retreat? It has to retreat through a Tiger. Down to 2 men, very low in health. Shots continue to fly from the LMGs, may even bring it down to 1. No, but it has to run through the Tiger. The Tiger does not have the gunner on top just yet, so the conscripts could potentially make it out of there. Seems unlikely. Yeah, didn't even need a gunner. 1 shot kills both of the conscripts, and Vindicare loses yet another squad. Gets himself another MG, or did he recover a stolen MG? Yeah, he actually stole an MG, so that's nice for Vindicare, but it's not going to help him out against the Tiger. We do have an AT gun on the field, and we also have a T-3485 currently back at base needing some repairs. Combat engineers did get requisitions, so they are available to help. The AT gun manages to miss against the Tiger, and the Tiger's just going to shoo up the infantry if it's not being contested, essentially. Far right-hand side, combat engineers do go for the victory point, trying to slow down that bleed. 174 to 335. Vindicare now losing severely. Half points, essentially. A little bit more, but yeah. Maxim machine gun in the center, getting shot on the side by a Tiger. Tiger finally getting hit there by that AT gun, taking some damage. Second shot flies, kind of bouncing off the frontal armor, doing a little bit of damage, but not too much. Combat engineers on the right, capturing territory. We still have that sniper on the field for Symbiosis. 38 kills so far. It's been doing great. It's a lot of manpower and bleeding. We see VindicareX resigning himself to build another T-3485 to see if he can combat and come back that way, because like I said, I mean, he had nowhere enough fuel to wait for that IS-2, and With the Tiger on the field now, he cannot just simply rely on one T-34-85 to do the job. And even with two, that probably still aren't going to do the job. Pack gun has taken some damage, but it's still alive and getting some shots off on that T-34-85. Left-hand side, Tiger blocking or covering the gap there on the hedge on the approach to VindicareX's base. Shots continue to fly. Conscript's getting annihilated there, down to one man. His retreat makes it out. Maxim machine gun in the hedge, taking some shots from the Tiger. Tiger gonna wreck it. T-34-85 is moving in that direction, gonna be assaulting the Tiger by themselves. They are quite okay as the pack gun is over on the left-hand side and the Panzer is on the far right-hand side. And I mean, the pack gun was on the right as well. So the T-34-85 is putting themselves in a decent position here to maybe take out the Tiger, but the Tiger is able to continuously damage them and move. They do bring the Tiger down to about half health. Shots continue to fly. T-34 in the center goes for the ram. Boom! Gets a crit, damages the engine on the Tiger, and the Tiger is currently, well, only damaged the engine. It's not disabled. Down to very low amounts of health. T-34-85 trying to get itself right on top of the Tiger and destroy it. Attacking ground. There goes the shot, and down goes the Tiger. A nice pickup there for VindicareX. Sacrificing or losing a Tiger, you know, losing a T-34-85 instead of a Tiger is always a good trade, but now the Panzer IV dashing into the left-hand side, trying to avenge its fallen father, manages to do some damage to the T-34, but the T-34 still alive, manages to get itself back to base, so VindicareX still in it, still fighting. Pack-on the right-hand side, not going to move, she's going to sit there and try to, well, defend the area. Conscripts moving up. Conscripts do not have access to anti-tank grenades, so the Panzer IV really has nothing to fear from it, but I suppose that Symbiosis isn't really aware of that, so he cannot take the risk of getting himself snared. AT gun is nearby, moves up, takes a shot. Panzer IV moves out of the way, stays alive. Sniper, 49 kills so far, continues to get some more shots there on the AT gun. Sniper now moving back. The T-34 moves up aggressively, but stops a little bit short. And the Panzer IV is moving around on the other side of the hedge. Conscripts pushing forward as the Sniper's just sitting there, going to be taking some shots at them. Sniper nails one shot. I think the mine over here might have gotten sweeped. Never didn't leave a crater, so. 75 points left, well, 70 points really left for VindicareX. He is currently on the wrong side of a triple cap. So as valiant an effort as he's putting up, he is losing and losing fast. So I don't see VindicareX coming back from this one. AT gun nailing an infantry with his shot. Very good. 2 infantry kills so far. Sniper still on the field. 52 kills so far. Continues to take more shots, and the mortar did get better in C3, although only 8 kills to its name, so it didn't really do too much. Sniper getting hit by the mortar, taking some damage, but the mortar unable to finish it off. Down to 2 men on that squad. The Sniper moves back a little bit. T-34 getting fausted here, taking some damage. Mortar crew does get cleared out here as it takes one last shot before the crew member retreats as a coward. 37 points left for VindicareX. Pio sitting in the point, not allowing VindicareX to capture it or decap it quickly. They're going to get themselves shoot up and destroyed if they don't retreat, but even then, doesn't seem to be that big a deal. Even then, the Pios are actually doing quite a bit of work here as the Sniper moves up to help out, down to 1 man. GG goes down by VindicareX and throws in the towel before the points come to a close. So, down 1 game for VindicareX, maybe knocked out early here in the competition. Although, in this stage of the competition, it's a double elimination. So, if you lose, you get knocked down to the loser's bracket, through which, if you lose again, of course, you get knocked out. But you can fight your way through it to have another chance of coming back at the finals, actually. So, never say never, right? So, for now, that's going to do it. We are going to be returning with same players, same map, only a different day. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.